From the dawn of man, we have hungered for food, hunting and gathering through a bleak wilderness for means of day-to-day survival, feasting on basic rains, clothed in mammoth pelts, battling the saber-toothed tiger. Okay, this is boring. Let's flash forward to today. We use our mobile app to order the best pizza on the planet delivered to our door while we battle saber-toothed tigers in a virtual reality simulation. Just like the evolution of man, the evolution of Domino's Pizza took some twists and turns along the way. Quick recap, in 1960, Tom Monahan purchased Dominick's Pizza, changed the name to Domino's Pizza, opened 3 more stores, and that was it.
Well done.
Except it wasn't. He then started building more stores, signed up franchisees, grew the business globally, retired, sold the company, Domino's went public, and before you knew it, Domino's was in more than 80 countries with over 16,000 stores. You see, people like pizza. In fact, pizza can be a part of meals at 3 locations during the day: home, work, and school. As Domino's grew, they saw opportunity to grow their sales in all 3 places, especially school lunch, since no one loves pizza more than kids. That's the history of Domino's. Now let's talk about school lunch for a hot minute. Organized education dates back a long way. Longer. Sure, that's fine. But organized meals for enrolled students only started around the turn of the century. Not that century. That's the one. Man was learning to fly, science found some relativity, and school lunch was in its infancy. In the 1940s, America saved the world, and then decided to take on school lunch. At that time, malnutrition was a real problem, and getting kids food in school offered great opportunity. That's when President Truman signed the National School Lunch Act of 1946. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you can take the heat, well then, get into a school lunch kitchen. Presidents came and went until 1969. While men were doing the moonwalk and hippies were wallowing in mud of their own, during the Nixon administration, child nutrition programs were expanded, since the issue of hunger and poverty was still, well, an issue. A few things happened, some people did some stuff, and then in the early 90s, some school meals dietary guidelines were established. But school lunch took a bad rap, and schools still played by their own rules. A tomato in any form was a vegetable, and if it was bread, sauce, and cheese, it was pizza, period. Over 100 years of focusing on school lunch had helped more kids get more food. But the opportunity shifted from just having something to eat to more closely examining what kids were actually eating.
What's in my lunch?
First Lady Michelle Obama wanted to take things a step further and initiated the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act, which was signed into law in the fall of 2010. Schools would now be required to meet new stringent USDA-established dietary guidelines for funded or subsidized school lunch. Now, Domino's saw this wave of change coming and already had their mad scientists in the lab concocting pizzas that were not only up to their delicious standards, but could also meet these new guidelines. With nutrition and active, healthy lifestyles now squarely in the target, Domino's wanted to be a part of the solution while continuing to provide students with hot, fresh pizza that also tasted great. But let's be frank, would creating a pizza specifically for school lunches make business sense for Domino's? Well, let's find out. First is scale. How many consumers are there in the school lunch arena? Well, there's a boatload. 56.6 million students and more than 130,000 schools in the US. So yeah, there's a market. Second is competition. What kind of pizzas were kids already eating? Domino's determined that 93% of school lunch pizza was, to put it lightly, yucky, frozen and, well, lame. Only 1 in 4 kids said they enjoyed the taste, and even that was probably generous since most kids just didn't want to hurt the frozen pizza's feelings. Third was opportunity. Was Domino's, with all its stores and franchisees, set up to be successful in school lunch delivery? Well, with the average Domino's store having 16 schools within their delivery area, you could say Domino's was poised to dominate. Now came the product. The new school lunch USDA dietary guidelines required whole grains and set some other specific nutritional targets, challenging Domino's to make a flavorful pizza that also met the specs. The foundation of a pizza comes to 4 elements: dough, sauce, cheese, and toppings. Remember those mad scientists at Domino's? Well, they partnered with the National Dairy Council and America's Dairy Farmers and got to work testing what they hoped would be the next great school lunch pizza. Let's start with the dough. First, it had to be whole grain. Second, Domino's had to determine the optimal amount of grain to include, and how much dough to even use. That's a lot of combinations for testing. Then there's the sauce. Have that same zesty pop to the taste buds, while being mindful of new sodium requirements. Next is cheese, that melty, gooey goodness that is so important to pizza lovers. It meant working in conjunction with the National Dairy Council and dairy farmers and processors to craft a superior product that could help meet the nutritional guidelines set by the USDA. The challenge was to remove some of the fat and sodium, but not reduce the flavor. The result? An amazing 100% real light mozzarella cheese that tastes Domino's great. And last is that all-important pizza topping, pepperoni. An amazing reduced fat and reduced sodium pep was developed, tested, and approved. Put it all together, and you have dough rich in whole grains, sauce low on sodium, cheese light on fat and sodium, and a brand new pepperoni, all designed to meet USDA meal pattern regulations. Thus, the Domino's Smart Slice Pizza was born. Now came the all-important taste test comparison. Domino's put its product up against some leading frozen pizza players, And it was no contest. Domino's Smart Slice was a winner.
Congratulations.
All Domino's needed now was to get the schools to know more about the product and start delivering on the promise of a more healthy, great-tasting pizza delivered hot, fresh, and on time for school lunch to as many schools as they could. This would require some major marketing muscle. Domino's capitalized on partnerships with national dairy organizations to help spread the word and became a patron of the School Nutrition Association. Domino's also focused on attending SNA conferences for face-to-face interactions with school lunch nutrition directors, building a team of brand ambassadors, sales folks, to help get the word out. With that came print ads, flyers, emails, and direct marketing. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? With Domino's focused on helping feed the youth of America, results speak for themselves. The number of schools who participate in the Domino's Smart Slice program since 2011 has gone up over 700%, which means more schools are serving more delicious meals to more students. There's less food waste in the school cafeteria and more food love, specifically pizza love.
Yummy.
Entrepreneur Jim Rohn once said, "If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse." So you have to ask yourself, what do I want to do, and how will I do it?